Jewel Faith. It's another episode of The Jewel Effect. I'm Jalen Jewel, and I'm here with someone that I've known most of my life.
Pew, pew, pew.
Yeah,
I ain't got no
for
sound
over
effects.
20 years. So I'm so honored to sit here with you.
I feel so old now, though.
No,
Yeah, I'm
you
about
were
to be-
you were young.
I'm
You were
about
only
to
a
be
few
40.
years.
I'm,
Hold up, now you're telling my age. You telling my age.
hey.
But
they
I've
got
known
baby
her.
girl.
I've seen her grow. I've seen her transition from afar for so many years, and I admire you. You are one of my sister's best friends, you know, one of her people that she holds so close to her heart. So, and she's like, Jalen, I need you to do this. I know, I'm watching her, Kaylee's. I'm watching her. Jalen, you need to, I'm like, yeah, I know. I hit her up. I emailed her. So I know I emailed you. We finally got back around to it.
Yes.
So I'm so excited that you took out the time to sit with me.
Of course.
She's a director, a writer, a producer. She's created amazing series like Single and Anxious. I remember going to...
Child, everybody like that single Angels. They still asking about that thing.
I know, yeah. So I remember going to a premiere of yours a few years ago.
Nice.
So I really
Thank you
enjoyed
for coming.
myself. So we'll get into that too. You had a movie that came out, a musical.
Yeah, I have Love You Right, an R&B musical.
Yep, Love You Right.
Yeah.
And then who was Christmas Eve
Yeah.
too. That
Yep.
was something else. So I want to get more about,
Yeah,
talk more
let's
about
talk about
that. Yeah. And we're here right now. I want to shout out the location,
Yeah.
Creative Thought Media. So we could go into detail about all these amazing things that you do. But I would like to welcome Christina Faith to the Jewel Effect.
Pew, 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 pew.
How are
I don't know
you?
why that's the sound effect I'm using. I'm good. I'm great. This is the first time I've sat down in a while, so yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, and you have your own podcast.
I do.
A lot
I
of
have
hats.
a podcast called A Lot of Hats that's coming back out. I believe what's this month at the top of March. So I do that with the brilliant dummy. She is truly brilliant. She's not a dummy. She's truly brilliant.
Yeah.
But a brilliant dummy is a great creative that we do a podcast together.
Yeah, I'm excited. I was watching some YouTube. Then you sent me
Okay.
the video
I don't know
to
what I
check
sent
it
you.
out. You was like, hey, this is the space, and I saw
Oh,
it. So I
yeah,
started
yeah.
watching it.
I'm
I
like,
got a
what I
little
sent you?
caught up in a rabbit hole. So that was cool. But it's really cool to sit
Yeah.
down with you. I
Thank
have
you.
So many
Ask me all
questions.
the questions.
I know.
Ask me all the questions.
I know, and I know this is gonna be so good because you're full of personality. You've
Oh.
always been.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Sometimes.
No.
Sometimes be like,
Do you think your personality has blessed you more than it's
Oh,
hindered
yeah.
you?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like once you learn how to harness your personality, and use it for its good, like it can be a blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so too. Yeah, Tina. So all right. So I want to talk about, because you've been doing this for a long time.
I did the math. This has been 21 years. This
Mm-hmm.
is crazy. I started, the first time I picked up a camera, I was like 7 or 8. First time I tried to use a camera was on campus. I still have those tapes, unfortunately. So
On campus.
one day them tapes coming out. And so, yeah, but even back then, we were doing creative things, and I probably should have been a marketing and communications major or a film major or something, but that wasn't even in our purview.
So
It was
what
just
did you
something for
study during school?
fun. Criminal justice and Africana studies, and a
Okay.
minor in English and criminology.
All right.
And then I went and got a master's of divinity and ended up a filmmaker.
So you got a lot of experience though.
And
You could
everything.
pretty much do anything you want to do.
Anything but math. Math and science.
Yeah.
And psychology is not.
Right. All right, so you started. I actually remember, when I came around, you were doing radio.
Yeah,
radio
that was the
show.
first thing that we did.
I know.
The Uprise. It was trifling. It was wonderful, trifling nature. It was just really fun.
Yeah.
To do that, and I was off the hook, off the charts.
Yeah.
I did not need a radio show at that time of my life.
Why not?
Oh, because we was ratchet. Yo.
Yeah. But that's okay, because you're in school,
We had fun.
you're
We
in college.
got kicked off. No, we got kicked off the radio.
y'all got kicked off.
FCC, we violated multiple FCC standards.
Okay, I see.
Yeah,
It's all right.
You know.
You made your mark, though.
I did. It was a lot of fun.
And it was the start. What did you learn? In that?
I learned that I had personality. I don't know if I've used my personality to the fullest yet. I think back then I was much more free to use my personality. I learned programming. I learned how to talk, right? I learned how not to say every 5 seconds. I learned how to work in a group. I learned how not to work in a group. Yeah, it was a really explosive time. Like when I look back now and remember those days, it's like, oh, these were already the baby steps that were being taken in order to do some amazing stuff. And so yeah, that was a vibe.
And at that point, was it just, oh, I'm just doing this because it's fun and I know how to do it? Or were you doing it like, oh, this is my passion. I think I really like this.
I think I always knew it was my passion. There was no name for it though yet. I remember this guy walking into my dorm room, and this is when I was still sharing a dorm room. And he's looked at my side. He was like, oh, future media mogul. Like I had to go look that word up. And this was like 2002, right? And so I didn't even know what that was. I just knew that I wanted to do something in entertainment. Like when I went to school, I wanted to be an entertainment lawyer. Like that was where I was going. I took the LSATs and everything. Yeah, it's always been there. I just didn't know what to do with it or how. Now there are tools where everybody can do it. Back then, there were no DSLRs. Like I didn't know any film majors. Like there was a theater crew. That's all I knew, and they were all white.
At Rutgers.
Yeah,
yeah, and that was like, yeah,
it was theater. There was nothing.
Yeah, and they studied like different techniques, like Meisner technique.
Yeah,
and that's totally different from what.
No one told us about the film department. Like everybody always looked at me and said, "Are you a communications major?" Like so, I knew it was in that vein. But yeah, the year we graduated, 2005, 2006, everything changed, and so. First thing I did when I graduated was get a MacBook Pro, and I started to become a rapper. That's a whole nother conversation. Oh. It's a whole nother conversation.
I'm about to start rapping a little segment. We could get into that. Maybe we can do a little bit after.
I ain't doing it.
Dang. 3 years and it feels like I wasted my time. Wonder how to.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was.
Yeah,
that was a nice stint in my life.
That's good. I like that. So what was a pivotal moment in this journey of Christina Faith that you really start moving into your career?
Music was the pivotal moment. I was at church and somebody was like, hey, I see you with a camera. And at the time I was taking photos. Like I had gotten a photography camera and I was taking photos. Photos didn't really, I saw something when I did them. Like I remember taking it with the first iPhone. I took a picture of my niece who was just born. She's turning 15 this year. So it's 15 years with that type of technology. Wow. And I took a photo of her and it was just like, wow. And I think because it was instant and it was right in your face, but something clicked. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm a photographer now. And so I went and started learning how to do photography. And then somebody said, I see you with the camera, like a video camera. And so I went out and bought a video camera. And I shot a music video within like a month of having it. And I think that was the pivotal moment where I realized, oh, this is just like a natural gift that I have. To be able to direct and move and produce and get people to do things.
So
to
you
make
shot
them better.
Someone else's music video, or okay?
I never shot my own.
Okay,
you will
not.
I
know
you will not see that on the interwebs. it doesn't exist.
Enters of net.
Of net on what's his name? Not Bill Gates. No.
Oh, that's where I got the enters of net.
Yeah, no, you won't see that. Thank God.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Who they
not
say?
Bill Gates, not Mitt Romney. What's the other guy?
Oh my gosh. Gore. Al Gore.
Al Gore's internet, because he actually is the one who founded it.
Or Beyonce's internet.
Now
I see that too.
It's Beyonce's internet.
Al Gore's internet. Yeah. Yep. So we won't see that.
No.
So yeah. So you.
But you can find my first music video. That kind of went viral, quote unquote. Back in the day, viral. And this was like when YouTube was first popping.
So on what platform did it go
YouTube.
viral? Oh, YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay.
So on YouTube, we had got on a site called Rapzilla. And Rapzilla, it was such a grimy song too, and we had used like a house that was falling apart, and on this house, the whole side of the house was missing, and that song was called House of Pain, and definitely almost got robbed that day shooting a video, but it was like 10 of us outside, and my homeboy was rapping, and I shot a video.
That's
and because I didn't know what I was doing, I did angles that no one thought of doing. And so I had people hit me up like, yo, the way that you did that, like, that's really dope. Like, keep going. So that was probably the most pivotal. And that was 2008.
Oh, yeah.
That was like
so it's still on Al Gore's internet. So we can check it out.
You have to dig really hard. hard for that.
House of Pain. I want to see it. Now you're talking about the angles. I'm like,
it was
what was you standing on?
I was standing on, so I'm short. So I was standing on everything. I was on the ground. I was on top. Right. I was figuring out how to do all of everything without anything. And
without
this was
any
like,
experience or.
Yeah, I didn't know anything. I didn't know about shot listing. I didn't know about none of that stuff. I was just like, all right, let's shoot a music video. And that's generally my personality. Even with the other, I was like, oh, let's do it. Yo, we can get a radio show. Like, let's get a radio show.
And you're the type of person that's like, hey, I got an idea. I'm not going to think too much on it. No. We're going to do it and we're going to figure it out along the way.
Yeah. Always been like that. Yeah.
That's good. That's kind of how the Jewel Effect has been. Yeah. It's kind of idea. I talked to Dre about it. It's like, all right, let's do it. Execute. So since then, it's like, all right, this could be better. This could be better. This could be better. And we're just learning. And
that's been my whole process. Every project I've ever had, I send it out to people. Even that one, like I knew this guy that moved to Hollywood and he did films. I knew his stuff was better than mine. Hey, can you take a look at it? What do you think? Literally every single project I've ever done, that's how it's been. It's been collaborative from the people I work with, as well as been collaborative for me asking people for input.
Right. So what would you say to people? Like, what would be a little bit of advice to tell someone, being that you using that technique or that strategy, just kind of like, hey, I got this idea. I'm going to learn along the way and just execute and move instead of just thinking, not moving on. So what would be some advice that you would give them?
If I could do it over, I would PA. Like, I would be a production assistant on as many projects as I can. I've never been on anyone else's set besides like a game show set, besides my own. Still to this day, still have not, right? And you can learn so much just by being in the midst of working with people and observing. Right. And so one of the things that I do is I open it up. Like if somebody's like, yo, I really want to learn how to, I want to be a director. I'm like, well, hey, I got PA positions open. Oh, I want to do such and such. Hey, do you know how to script supervise? Like things like that. I think this generation, one of the things that we like to do that we probably shouldn't is we like to execute and not get better, right? We want the numbers and the followers more so than we want growth. And so I'm really big on growth. Like if you look at all of my work over the years, there's growth to all of it, right? And to some people's amazement, because like we've done everything with absolutely no budget, right? Until Christmas Eve was the first time that I had a budget.
Nice, okay.
Right? And when I say budget, like, like no budget, like credit cards, just trying to figure it out. Training people and teaching people over the years how to do roles so I wouldn't have to do all those roles. And a part of that growth has been just doing the work and getting better, Don't worry about how many people see it. Worry about, did you complete it? How can you do it better? Exactly. And then do the next one. It's about the next one. It's not about, just being known. It's about the next one.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I really like that. I think it's really important because people, they'll do something they'll actually be pretty good at. They might not be perfect.
Yeah.
But then in the end, it'll be like, I'm not getting the followers. I'm not getting the numbers. I'm not getting the results. I'm not getting the money, right? And then they'll just stop. So I think it's about consistency too.
This is the first year that I've made a living off of film.
Oh.
First year, period. First year that I've made a living off of anything creative. Because all the other years has been just pouring back into the business, pouring back into the product, pouring back into people, and building other things while we're doing it. That's right. And so, yeah, you can't worry about the money. You can't worry about the followers. Because along the way, if you're doing well, your name goes around. Your product goes around. And it's like, I use like Tabitha Brown for example. Every day she uploaded a video, every single day. And so people are like, oh my gosh, she blew up. She's consistent. So if anything, it's just consistency. If I would have consistently did podcasts, my first podcast was 2007.
Before podcasts
Before
were like
it was
even
a thing.
like popping.
And then I did it again in 2011. If I would have continued and not really worried about what people were saying and thinking, like I would be like I was talking about this girl, Justine been getting money on social for a decade.
That's right. Like
millions of dollars. And so, but sometimes, okay, if you didn't continue with that, don't worry about it. What are you continuing with? And then that will open up. But at the end of the day, like I was doing podcasts when it was radio. It was the same thing to me.
Exactly.
Right?
It's just on video.
It's just on video. Or it's just audio. And so, yeah, I think the thing that I would tell people is like, be consistent. Consistency is more important than anything.
That's perfect. Yeah. Consistency. I've been having a lot of talks about that. Like, stay consistent. Even if it's like a little slower, because people think like, I got to put this out once a week. twice a week, do this. Like, it's important to have a plan and a schedule and hold yourself accountable, but just don't give up. Don't stop.
Yeah.
Keep going. If you have a bad moment or a bad episode or this, like, you just keep going. Hey, all right, I could be doing better on this. Oh, I said what way too many times.
Yep.
I said way too many times.
I'm sorry.
Dang, this only got 15 likes. This only got 15 views. Yeah, exactly. You can't look at that.
Yeah.
And I've been doing the Jewel Effect for just over a year.
Yep.
Right?
I remember when you started.
Slow race. Thank you for noticing.
Oh, no, that's all. I noticed.
But
Kaylee was like, check it out. And I was like, all right.
Oh, shout out to KK.
Keep going.
Yeah. So, I've been staying consistent, and we don't have that many episodes, but the amount of like networking and the intention behind it.
Yeah.
Because it's people that's hitting me up like, hey, can I get an episode? And it's like, I sure cannot. No, they can't not.
They can't?
No.
They're not good enough.
No, we literally sit down and say, who is good for this?
We got standards.
It's intention behind it. You know what I mean? So, this might be, what do we say? Like the 16th episode or something. It's going to be like, around the 16th recorded episode. And every single person that we've chosen has been a reason. Yeah. Because it's like just the idea of it.
Yeah. Laying out the growth, laying out the plan, the projection of where you want to go.
Exactly. Yeah. And everything is very intentional.
Nice.
So
keep going.
Yeah, I will. So I want to talk about, you've been around a lot of people lately, right? Do you get starstruck?
No.
I know.
I've never gotten starstruck. Once. I'm lying. Once.
Me too.
Aaliyah.
Who?
Aaliyah.
Aaliyah who?
Aaliyah. I met Aaliyah her first album tour in 1995.
Nice.
And me and my cousin was like,
I know.
That's about it.
I know.
That's because they're people.
Yeah.
They're people with extraordinary talents, right? Right. And generally when I'm working with a lot of people, I need them to do what I need them to do. And it's generally in a certain amount of time that I have them. Like most people, for Masters of the Game, I have people for 60 to maybe 90 minutes. If we're doing a Super Fest or we're doing the Griot Awards, I have them for 10 minutes. And it probably took me 2 days politicking with their manager and their publicist to even get them in the room.
That's right.
And so, we don't really take pictures and all that kind of stuff. I took a picture with Howie Mandel recently. That was like, dang, this Howie Mandel. This is crazy.
I know.
Like, sometimes you be like, we did this show that just came on NBC. And it was just like, Earth, Wind, and Fire right there, y'all.
Goodness gracious.
Sitting in the room.
Yeah.
Boys and men, what's up, Philly? What's up? It's surreal, but it's not really a starstruck.
It's not like, I've only been starstruck one time. India Irie. So
she helped us promote the first movie, Love You Right. She reposted it. That was like, I don't even know how she got it.
She's amazing.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
She's such a kind heart.
Yeah. I met her like Grammy weekend, like 2018. Then I ran into her 2 days later at the Grammys. She's like, hi, beautiful. I'm like, oh my God, I'm about to throw up.
And he already said my name.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She didn't know my name, but she recognized me from a couple days before. And I just wanted to like hug her and squeeze her, but I couldn't do that. Yeah. I know, but she's just a genuine person with a great spirit. Yeah. So you work with these people. You don't even have the time because you're working. You're in it.
You can make the time. I don't make the time. Like it's not.
You know who you are, Tina.
Yeah. It's not my thing. I'm just like, this is cool. Like if I Right. Yeah. I saw Kelly Rowland at a pre-Oscar party last year. And when it's really cool, like, to see people, like, really show up as who they are. But when she walked in, it was, like, so angelic. I was like, yo, that's Kelly Rowland. That's dope. Because she was still nice. And Ava DuVernay, she does the same thing. Like, there are certain people who just draw people in. And you just feel their warmth, which is dope. Because sometimes you can just also feel their nastiness. It's really interesting. Yeah, my Instagram been looking crazy lately.
Yeah. Check her Instagram out.
Christina Faith.
That's right. At Christina Faith. So
come holla at me.
Check it out. So you mentioned the Griots.
Yeah.
The Griot Awards and Masters of the Game. So please tell me more about that. I want to know more.
So I got hired at the Griot in August. I wasn't going to take the job. Everybody knows that. But it's remote, and I was like, let's try it.
Let's do it.
I built a high school called Vocasio Career Prep High School. And it was like my 7th year, and I knew that I was leaving. So I was like, all right, I just want to sit at home and write. And I wanted a job that I could be remote and sit at home and write. The the griot hired me, and then 5 days into me being hired, they purchased a network. They turned it into a network. Ooh. And so they gave me this show, Masters of the Game, to produce, and that's been a really dope ride. It has like Tyler Perry on it, Kenan Thompson, Debbie Allen, and just so many more people. And so that's a show that comes on monthly on the griot. You can catch it on the app and all that kind of stuff, as well as the television network. You can go and look for the griot. And so Byron Allen has been really amazing at producing these really big shows. He wanted to do an award show for probably 20 years. And so he was like, we're doing an award show. And everybody was like, all right, we're doing an award show. And so we did that. That'll be a yearly thing, which was amazing. Like if you can, it's a fast channel. So like if you have Roku or something like that, or if you just go to thegriot.com, you can rewatch it. It was really dope to see all of these amazing Black people be celebrated. And it not be a competition, just like we're just giving you your flowers. And then for them to see everybody in the room and them to be starstruck and like, wow, this is crazy. Because you don't have a lot of rooms that are just Black people celebrating Black people. I think besides like BET Honors, it doesn't exist. And so that's been really dope. And then recently he did Byron Allen Presents the Superfest Music and Comedy Fest. That was crazy. That had like a broad range of people. Gabriel Iglesias, Cedric the Entertainer, Tiffany Haddish, Earth, Wind & Fire, and just all of these people like a 70s variety show. And you just watch all of these crazy talents like at one time, which is really dope.
Right, and you produced on.
So I do the post show of those shows. Okay. So I do the show outside. I do the show in the show.
Nice.
Outside the show. Yeah. Yeah. So I do the pre-show and the post show.
So you've interacted with a lot of people during
in a
shows.
very short amount of time. It's crazy.
Exactly.
It's
so
crazy.
how long have you been with griot?
Less than 6 months.
So in less than 6 months, you've interacted with.
I've interacted most of my legends, or we're pursuing a legend that I really want to meet too, right? Because I always think about like who people want to meet or who people want to hear from. We have 60 minutes for a legend to sit down and tell us about their journey and only how they mastered the game. We don't talk about nothing else. And so it's also asking the questions that you want to know.
Right. So in this time,
yeah,
when you sitting down with them and interacting with them, who is someone that really stuck out that made a huge impact? Yeah. What was it like? What was something that they said to you that you'll never forget?
2 people come to mind. The first is Tyler Perry, and he spoke to me at the end, and he was just telling me to look for the open doors, right? That a lot of doors are going to be open to me, and I need to be looking for them instead of waiting for them. And so that was really good. And then Tabitha Brown, like she really is the real deal. And so like seeing her interact and knowing that when she sat down with us, she doesn't really sit down for interviews, and she sat down with us. She did like all kinds of stuff with us that day, which was amazing. But really what I took from her is just, it really don't cost nothing to be nice. Like it really doesn't. And she was just genuine and loving to every single person she came in contact with. And I saw her once before, and she really is who she says she is. And that was really dope. Even to hear how she's navigating the industry and what she chooses to do and what not to do. Like, that was really amazing to me.
Yeah, Tabitha, you could tell. Even when I see her videos or her.
That is it. I don't think you can get nothing different.
I get chills.
Yeah.
I think I have good
we
discernment.
Cried. We all cried a couple times.
Really?
It's such a, that episode comes out March 30th. I'm
going to check it out.
It was such a good interview. Like, even the thugs that was on the crew was like, yo, my mama love you. And so it was dope.
Yeah, oh, that's good. I can't wait. March 30th. I'm definitely going to check it out. So I want to backtrack just a little bit.
Okay. Whatever you need to.
Just going back just a little bit with your series. And you've done a musical, and you've done these things independently. Almost all of everything without a budget. How do you think that you navigated that, where it turned into opening up more opportunities for you?
You know, it's really weird. No door really opens to me unless God opens it. Like, I've knocked on a lot of doors.
That's right.
And they don't generally open for me. I think what those series and movies initially did was it taught us resilience. Like, when you don't have no money and you're doing stuff, like, you have to get innovative. There's like, the fact that we tried, the fact that I thought we could make six episodes of a web series, and I had never written anything. I had never written a script. Like, I had done plays before, but plays and screenplays are two different things, right? But even thinking about the journey, like I did plays for years before I did like anything narrative. So the first season of Single and Anxious, it was just weekends. Like I was working a job at PBS as an assistant editor, and we were living way below our means. We was living out in the woods somewhere, paying like $400 a month in rent. And so we took all the money and bought gear, because when we previously tried to do Single and Anxious, there's one that no one will ever see. It was just bad. It was just like long scenes that was like 8 and 10 minutes long, one camera angle. But people were like, no, we see it. Like people were watching it, which was really weird to me. I was like, it had like 300 views, but people liked it. And then when I was like, all right, well, let's try again. And me and my homegirl sat in my kitchen, and we rewrote all the scenes that we had already done. And I stopped thinking small, started thinking big. Like if I could just do whatever I want, what I'm doing, just writing. And so that year, that was the first time that I didn't have to touch a camera. I had a new DP who was learning, and everybody was learning. Everybody was learning together. It's not fun when everybody's learning together.
Yeah.
Right? We was all, every summer we would do this, and we would all be pissed at each other about it in the summer, but we would do it.
Right.
And so, but then I had to learn how to teach people how to edit. Because the first season I edited that myself. That was me.
What did you use?
Premiere.
Okay.
But this was from years of having been an editor. Right. So if we think about like what has paid me the most over the years is being able to be an editor. Like all my jobs that I got paid for were editing. And so I taught other people. Ashley, I taught her how to edit. I taught her how to do sound. Ashley was my first soundist on Single and Anxious, the very, very first one. And she was actually just got tooth pulled. She was on the joint, like knocked out doing sound, right? And that was 2013, 2014. And so she's 10 years into having 2 different skills now, sound and editing. And so, yeah, I think it's just season after season. But it's so many like her. So many. Season after season, we put it out. So season 1 was like, all right, my actors was, they know they weren't great, right?
Okay.
And so I connected with an acting coach. Like we all weren't great. Like I had people come in and give us feedback. Like people came to the first season and we packed it out, but the sound was trash. And I was like, the person that did the sound, she was acting like she knew what she doing. Sis did not know what she was doing. And I heard it after the fact. I don't like
people like that, Tina.
It's a lot of them.
Because they be like, oh, yeah, I got you.
It's a lot of them. And people with credits. It's a lot of them. It's a lot. And so I was like, all right, Ash, I don't know how we're going to do this, but I need you to do my sound because sis, she messed it up.
Yeah.
So season 2, we came back. We learned about practical lighting. We learned about how to light all these black skin tones. Because if you look at the first thing, that's why I was like, hey, take that off the wall because it's going to cast shadow. Because we were literally like, we had brown couches with brown walls and brown people with red clothes. So we learned about the science of coloring. Like, so we've learned about everything. Every season was like shooting in the gym. And then, we would go and promote it at festivals like we was the ish. Like, because in our minds, we just did another season, 6 episodes, 20 to 30 minutes apiece. And then we came back we got the actors acting training to go from season 2 to season 3. Right. And so I had an acting coach that was building up my actors every week. For our rehearsal wasn't rehearsing. Our rehearsal was him coming in and teaching them. Or them going to his acting studio and learning. And then I learned how to be a better director by seeing how he dealt with actors. Like, how do I become an actor's director and not just a technical director? Then season 3, we was crazy. 10 episodes, 20 to 30 minutes apiece. And this is all independent. This is doing our own premieres, our own festivals. And then I got told by Netflix in a panel at American Black Film Festival, don't make any more filmmakers stop making web series. And I was like, what? Yo, we making a feature next summer. We gonna go finish this season. Yeah. And then we gonna make a feature. Which was perfect timing for us because season 3, everything kind of like started to fall apart because the demands become higher and we don't have extra money. And so people just like, I'm doing all this and we ain't getting none. But I'm like, y'all just keep looking forward. And so the people who look forward came to Love You Right, an R&B musical. And we hit up Mark J.P. Hood in the DM and like, I got this script. I ain't got no money, but I got this script. And he read the script. He hadn't done his first feature yet. And he was like, all right, because I needed a male that could act, sing, and dance and be heterosexual. That's hard.
Oh yeah.
And black.
Yeah.
And have swag. We scoured the internet and couldn't find anything. And then Ashley at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, he had done this little run. It was like I loved him hoes. Something random. It was something random. And I was like, oh, that's the guy. That's the guy from The Voice years ago. Because he was on The Voice years ago. Mm-hmm. He had done this move where he was singing Ain't No Mountain High Enough. And he did this skip across the stage when he sang this line to the girl, which backed her down in the battle. Ooh. And I rewound that thing like 10 times. And that was when he was on it years ago. And so he read it. And he was like, hey, I'll come do it. My only requirement is you get me there and I'll stay with you. And I was like, all right, I don't know how this is going to happen, but sure.
Okay. So
we went and made a feature film with no money. Like, to the point where things like my homegirl, who her aunt introduced me to her, we just brought her on as a production assistant. Turns out that she's a fashion designer. And so we like, oh, well, hey, you the new wardrobe person.
Yeah.
And she was like, all right. Well,
right.
I just saw them at Creed returning stuff at H&M. The Creed movie, they take everything back. And I was
Schitt's
like...
Creed?
No, Creed.
Oh, Creed.
Creed.
Oh, wow.
So we learned a valuable lesson. I had learned in season 3 because our wardrobe was a little shaky, season 1 and season 2, mm-hmm. especially the guys. It wasn't good. They wasn't looking like healthy drug dealers. They was looking a little broke. Mm. And so I learned that you can go and buy clothes, wear them, don't damage them, and take them back at certain stores. Okay. And so that was like that unlocked things for us. So it's little things that we learned along the way just unlock the next level. And so, right. We did a short, right? So in between doing the series, we would do a short every season. We were crazy, right? But we wanted to get better. And how do you get better? By keep doing. We did a short. And this short was really good. And we learned, oh, wow, we can do this, we can do that. Oh, okay, we don't have a dolly, but we got a car and they walking down the street. Yo, anybody got a van? Somebody got a van. Your mama got a van? Your daddy got a van? All right, sit in the back of the van, Eric, and hold the camera. Like, things like that.
Perfect,
like,
yeah.
We used as much ingenuity as we had. And so by the time we did Love You Right, everybody told me not to do Love You Right.
Why?
Why don't you wait till you have more money? And I was like... if I don't do this, I need to do this. Like, I felt, it was just like, all right, just read the script and tell me how to make it better. Like, that's what I was just like, I'm not going to wait. I'm going to keep going. I really feel like I need to do this. And that was this summer in 2019. Yeah. And so my homegirl, Crystal, who I'm having dinner with tomorrow, she's a Grammy-nominated writer, sick writer and singer, sick. So I hit her up like, yo, Crystal, can you write the music for this? And she was like, sure. And so I ended up getting Ivan Barrios and Christopher Stevens to do the production. And so then we needed a singer that could play this role. And my homegirl Mesa, who played one of the characters, Mesa Boo, who played one of the characters. And Mesa, it was her first acting gig when she came to us. Mm-hmm. She hadn't been acting, but she just wanted to. Mesa's probably one of the most disciplined people I know as far as growing her talent. And so I was like, yo, and she was like, yo, I know this girl from Newark. Her name is Leah Janae. She was on The Voice. And I was like, all right, well, get the contact, get her. And so we ended up getting Leah Janae. And so just little things helped us put it all together. And then because I knew how to edit, me and Ashley and Eric pretty much edited the whole thing in Kai. And so the first draft was really bad, y'all. It was really bad.
It's okay.
I sent it to a CAA agent that I met, telling them it was a draft. She told me to go back to film school. And I was like, I said it was a draft. Then I sent it to the head of production over at Westbrook. I hit her up in the DMs because I'm a DM person. I'll be in people's DMs.
Okay. It go down
I'm
in
be
the
some
DMs.
DMs real soon. I'll be in DMs. And so I was up in her DMs, and I was like, yo, can I send you this? And she was like, yeah. She watched the first 20 minutes. She was like, okay, you probably need to scrap that first scene, make it move faster, da-da-da-da. Then I sent it to this film critic, Real Black. And he was like, yo, you need a different editor. I was like, just tell me what you think I need to fix. Yeah. And so he just kept telling me. And so I learned how to do story structure and editing based off of what people were telling me. Right. And thank God I did it because the pandemic hit 2020. And we had plans, y'all. Yeah. We had plans. We was taking this thing on a tour. We had stuff lined up. Christina Faith was going to be Christina Faithin'. And then pandemic hit. And Yeah.
That pandemic.
That
That pandemic shut everything
It shut
down.
us all down.
Yeah.
But God.
But
Yeah.
But in the pandemic, what was something that you were able to like?
I can tell you what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So during the pandemic, all these resources for Black people were coming out. And so one of the resources that I was able to get was Start With 8 Hollywood, which is a mentoring group that connects you with other people in the industry. Because literally, start with 8 people was the concept. Like 8 people to mentor 8 people type thing. And then there were so many people, so many women, particularly women of color. There were so many people that they didn't have enough mentors to go with the people.
Right.
And by the time I got to the tweet, they had just closed it. So I hit the leader up like, hey, I got this film. It's finished. The film was finished. Color, sound, everything. We ready. We need distribution. And so she was like, hey, we closed it, but you're the perfect candidate because we needed somebody that was right on the cusp, that just needed a little bump. And so this mentorship was different than all the other fellowships because it allowed you to select the area that you wanted a mentor in. And so I took the areas that I was most weakest in. I took like distribution. It was like distribution is something else, right? Because I didn't understand distribution yet. Like I had done it with Single and Anxious, but I didn't really understand how it worked. So I ended up getting distribution mentors who taught me how distribution worked. One guy gave me a list. And he was like, hey, hit all these people and see what happens. We then went and made our own list too, because every year I would carry interns, right? So my interns would get experience too. And so we hit a list up and I ended up getting like 7 or 8 offers from distribution.
Wow.
And so we ended up going with Freestyle Digital Media, which is actually a Byron Allen company. And we went with them because they gave us the greatest split with the least amount of time. I got like 5 years left on this contract though, y'all.
It's all right. You got it.
And then a lot of people with their distribution, they wanted your sequel and your prequel too. Right? So we had this international company that wanted us. But they wanted your mama, your daddy, your grandma. My lawyer read it. He was like, yeah, no, we ain't doing that. We're not doing that. And so they allowed me to keep my sequel or my prequel and just do a 60-40 split. No, 70-30 split. So we got distribution. So now we're on Amazon, Apple, and anywhere that movies are sold. And then we ended up on some other platforms too. And so, but that was 2020. That came out in February 2020. May 2020, I got an email from a girl because I was now a success story for Start With 8 Hollywood that we had did like, you do little like talks pretty much. And they keep reusing the talk. So I did a little talk explaining my journey. And she was like, hey, Chris, I know you, I just got this call. They looking for a Black female director, local to New Jersey. It has to have one feature. Are you interested? She's like, send me your reel. Literally that weekend before, I sat on the couch and did a reel. And I hadn't done a reel in like 2-3 years. Yeah. And I was like, I need a reel. I don't know why. I'm on a couch like this, making a reel. Mm-hmm. And then that was actually Who Was Christmas Eve. And so I ended up getting Who Was Christmas Eve. And had I not done that feature, I wouldn't have been eligible to get that job. And then once I did Who Was Christmas Eve, that opened up like a different zone, right? The zone was, I understand how talent works, understand what they like and what they don't like. Because I had been working with talent, but I hadn't been working with the talent of like, Romeo and Paige and Juliana been in the game for 20 years, right? But Paige had never had a number one. She had never been number one on a call sheet.
You talking about Paige Hurd,
yeah,
right?
Paige
yeah.
Audrey Marie Hurd. She had never been number one on a call sheet, which was crazy to me because she's a beast.
And
right?
she's beautiful, and she's talented.
She's beautiful, she's talented, and she's easy to work with, right? And so I was like, when we were like looking for people, looking for actors, and I submitted probably 250 actors. Paige was always like, after I saw her on Power, I was like, yo, shorty crazy. Like, she good. Because I know this ain't her personality. And so we ended up doing that. And then we had gone around the block with the male lead. And the network didn't like anybody. And then the executive producers didn't like anybody. And one day in the meeting, I was like, Romeo. And everybody was like, Romeo. And I was like, oh, y'all only like people y'all know. But Romeo turned out to be such a charm. Because he had never been a romantic lead.
All the girls had a crush on him when we were younger, okay?
Hilarious. They still do.
And he's still fine. Yeah,
he is. Such a charming guy.
Yes.
And so he had never been a romantic lead. Yes. And what actually happened with him was that his agent did not present him the idea. So while we were going out for a deal for another actor, so you give deals and they have an expiration on them, he had called us like, hey, I just saw this script. I want it. And we was like, well, we got to wait till this other offer expired because it's out. But so you didn't learn like how you should, even if they have an agent sometimes, you should reach out to the actor themselves as opposed to reaching out to them. Because the agents don't always pass on good stuff.
So there's not like a etiquette or a protocol. There is,
right? But it depends on how bad you want it and how well you talk to them about the opportunity and if it is an opportunity. Yeah. And so because I did that, I don't even know who's Christmas Eve kind of like just opened up doors of conversations now with executives about my next project. And it put me in a different category because now I had done a film with a budget. And it wasn't a big budget, but it looked like it's a big budget. We shot Who Was Christmas Eve in 3 weeks, 12 shooting days with $800,000 in 26 locations, right? 26 locations.
Wow.
So Who Was Christmas Eve was written by a writer who had never written a feature before. And when we were prepping, y'all don't understand how hard that movie was made because it was also the first time Bounce did it. It was the first time this production. It was a lot. And thank God that I had all of this experience that I had no idea I had.
Because of what you did independently.
Because of what I did independently.
That's right.
And I was like, yo, I'm moving like a whole production company. And my producer can't keep up. Oh, shoot. I actually know what I'm doing. So that was an eye-opener for me. And then after that, I had to now decide, like, what do you want to do? Like, I'm having all these conversations with executives about my next project. And I'm like, yeah, I don't like this. I don't like you having to say yes to me still.
Right.
I don't like that. I need to still be able to control stuff. I ain't a control freak, but I'm a control freak, right?
When it comes to stuff like this, like, right?
I just got standards.
Okay.
And so if you don't move fast enough, I'm going to move faster. And so, like, my homegirls always say, like, you need people who can keep up with you. Because if you can't, I'm going to just do it for you. And I shouldn't have to do it for you if you're supposed to be above me, right? And so who's Christmas Eve? I learned pecking order. Like I learned, if you're a director only, you can only talk about the creative. My brain, so I have friends that are directors and they only want to deal with the creative. Me, we be sitting down and I be thinking about how much it costs. Like, okay, how much, okay, this budget is such and such. So I'm thinking about the business side of everything while I'm working on the creative side. And so, yeah, that happened. And then that was in May 2021. No, that came out. When did that come out? Those movies came out in the same year. Both of them came out in 2021.
Okay.
Which was crazy because I had 2 features drop in the same year. And then 2022, I had to decide what I wanted to do. And I knew I was leaving my job. And that's all I knew.
You knew it, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that was a long story. Sorry, guys. But
no, it was great.
Yeah.
It was great. I love that. So what do you think has been the biggest obstacle?
Money. Access.
Let's talk more about it.
Yeah, that's the biggest obstacle to everyone.
But
Money
now this is the year.
This is an interesting year.
Yeah, so this is the year that you actually were able to get money off of what you do and what you're passionate about, what you're really good at. So how were you able to monetize? Just working remotely for the griot or like?
So I don't think, so I make finances right now as a producer. So as a producer, I make a full-time living, right? Okay. It's still going to be the same issue for the next feature. So I'm working on a feature now, which is, I'm calling it a Sundance Darling right now. We're gonna win Sundance when we get this thing in.
Speak it, Tina.
We're gonna try to make this thing this summer. Yeah. Right. And we're gonna try to do it in 3 weeks and die. It's gonna be based in the 80s, and it's about my mother. Right. It's about my mother and my father, which is a story I have been sitting on forever. And so I wrote it as a feature, then I wrote it as a pilot, and then it sat. And then I hit my homegirl up, Tracy Michelle Lewis Gidgets, and she's an author. She wrote a book called Black Joy. Then They Came From Mine. She's literally written 23 published books, whether it's her book or ghostwriting books. And she's trying to go into the screenwriting side, into the film side. And I was like, yo, I need somebody to co-write with me because I got it, but it's too personal, right? So all of the projects I've done have not been personal. And so this is really personal for me. And so next month, March, we're going to start reformatting that and putting that together and then shopping it. And I'm trying to think about who gonna play my mama. That's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
My mother she's a firecracker. She was a firecracker, especially the young version. But it's like based on a true story. It has all the things. She was the first black female executive in the casino for Trump.
You talking about your mom?
I'm talking about my mom.
Whoa.
Right? My father was
Tina.
the biggest drug dealer in Atlantic City, worked with Nicky Barnes and all these guys. And so it's a story it's very robust. And I think the greatest honor is going to be able to tell it because she's always wanted to tell her story. I found she started writing a book about her life. And so I named the character after the person that she named herself after. And it's the first time, which I think is probably why it's going to be what it needs to be. This is the first time I'm really going to access that. And I think people are going to be able to see their mother-daughter relationships, their mother, especially single mothers, right? If your mother was a single mother, this is going to be something that reverberates with a lot of people. We're gonna be very real. We're authentic. My mother was a functional addict. My father died of an overdose when I was 9. And so to see some of these things, to see how back in the 80s, black people had money. We had a lot of money. Right?
That's
and so
right.
to see that kind of stuff, I think is really going to be fun. And just to figure out how to tell that story, I think it's probably going to be the easiest and hardest thing I've ever done. But it's all those things that have gotten me to this point. So, yeah.
Right. Like you tell me that right now.
Yeah.
It's like that. I think that's a beautiful way.
Yeah.
Using your passion, using what you're great at, using your genius to honor your mother,
Yeah.
to honor your father and tell their story. Especially you say your mom, she was
Yeah.
writing a book.
Yeah, she wanted to wite her book all her life. I think
Right.
the greatest, not the greatest regret, but the greatest regret that I have is just not letting her talk in front of a camera because she was hilarious.
Oh, I would have loved to see that.
She was hilarious.
But you knew your mother. You
I
know
did.
her. You're her spirit. You're her. So she's in you.
Oh, yeah.
So you're
After
gonna be
your
able
mother
to.
die, you realize just how much she in you. You be like, man.
So you're gonna be able to bring that to life.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Oh, that's gonna be so
gonna be fun.
amazing. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah,
That's
gonna be
good.
fun.
That's gonna be great. That's good.
Yeah.
So you're Christina Faith,
Yeah.
and your middle name, that's your real name,
Yeah.
Faith.
First and last name, middle name. Yeah. First and middle name. Yeah.
First and middle name, Christina Faith. So how do you feel like your faith has played a part in your career? Your journey.
Yeah, it is my journey, right? It's because everything I've done has been by faith, right? I really, even to this day, as God has stripped away legalism from me in religion, I still, even today, I was like, Lord, you order my steps. I don't know what's next. I do know that where I'm at right now is crazy. Everybody's like, yo, this is moving really fast. Yeah, okay. Hey, sometimes I remember when it was slow. But even I was like, Lord, you order my steps, so order them. Show me where to walk. My whole thing has always been, Lord, don't release me till you qualify me, right? I don't want to be released until I can handle it. Because I done been in some rooms and I've been like, yeah, thank God that I am who I am now and not who I was then. Because I'd be a mess. I'd be on tabloids and everything.
No, Tina.
Oh,
yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
Oh, we thank God the internet wasn't around in the early
people
2000s.
think things are moving fast right now,
Yeah.
right? They're moving fast right now, but you've been in this for
21 years.
21 years,
Yeah.
right? So when
It
people
probably longer.
Yeah.
If I think about the first time I wrote a song, or I think about the first time I thought about I literally obsessed over culture all my life. All my life. If you came in my room, I was the type of person I had every Word Up magazine. I had posters on the wall. I had every DVD. I had every CD.
Oh, yeah.
I've always been that person. I used to ruin music for everybody because I'm playing the newest stuff before it came out because I done found it on LimeWire.
Found it.
Yeah, they were like, this is dope, but why you gotta ruin it? Hey, I found it. You don't like it?
Right.
Because I was also trying to, even then, I was trying to look.
you were one of the first, you know how to be like, oh, this song leaked. You were the leaker.
I was leaking stuff. I was playing on the radio yeah, it ain't come out yet. Exclusive. DJ Nice. It was insane.
So was that one of the violations that you had with the FCC? You was cussing.
I was cussing up a storm.
He's like, you gotta go.
Giving
I
me
thought
an
you was
audience.
leaking music that didn't hit the waves yet.
And you know what it was? Let me tell you what it was.
What?
So after we did, what's the Livy Fest or whatever it is?
Oh my
Spring
goodness.
Fest.
Spring Fest. Rutgers Fest?
Yeah, they hated us after that.
Yeah.
We became targets. And then, like, this was
Kaylee's over here dying laughing.
Yeah, like when Joe Buttons was popping and we pulling him through the crowd to get to. Matter of fact, we never even used that interview. Matter of fact, I still have it. I should go listen to it.
You should.
Like, you know, we walked in such a, like, we belong here, and the white folks didn't like it. They really didn't like it. Like, it was very interesting to see how, and even some black people didn't like it. A lot of black people didn't like it, to be very honest. Right? To see how, if I was a man, I think life would have been a lot different for me coming up. But because I was a woman and I'm short and I'm black, like, I think that has hindered me and has been an obstacle that not for me, but for other people to get over. Because I'm strong, I'm opinionated, I don't really care. I'm really not moved by you liking me or not. Yeah. And so I think just, I've been at this for a long time. Like, it's going to be really interesting, like, when the big thing happens. It still don't mean nothing to me, though. Like, because I just love what I do. So whether it's big or small, like, I'm going to do it with my all.
That's right. Yeah. So just even going back to, like, the faith thing.
Yeah.
Right? And you saying that you'll be on the tabloids and all that. But
we thank God for Jesus for me.
No, honestly, sometimes I think, like, where my mind is right now, where I'm going right now, I wouldn't have been able to handle it.
No, I wouldn't.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, one of my favorite scriptures is Jeremiah 29, verse 11.
Yeah.
For I know the plans I have for you.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, go by, you know, order my steps.
Yeah.
I'm going with you as long as once I put my feet on the ground in the morning and I do my best.
Yeah.
And I'm intentional in my steps and I always try to do the right thing and to serve God and serve myself and just always be intentional about what I'm doing. It's like, things are going to happen.
Sooner or later, or maybe never. Right?
Maybe never, because it might not be.
Because it might not be. Like, I think that's where hope comes from. Like, my hope doesn't rest in the fact that I'll be rich and famous. My hope rests in the fact that God will use me for his purpose. And his purpose for me being in the industry is probably not even creativity, right? It might be somebody that I need to talk to, I need to speak with, or people lives that I can influence because I've been through some of the things that they have been through. Like, the scripture talks about that you suffer so that you can aid and help other people in their suffering. Right. Like, one of the biggest things about all the things I've done, it has been a trial the entire time. Like, we were just, cracking up recently that at the top of the year, our first shoot, the sprinklers go off. And it's $350,000 worth of gear.
What?
And it literally just, and it went off for 40 or 50 minutes. And everybody, no one knows how it happened. Like, that was the first thing. And I was like, if this is how the year is going to start now, it's going to be big. And then every step of the way, the opposition continues to get harder and harder and harder. And if you don't have faith, you'll start to hate people because you think people are against you. But being reminded, like, we don't wrestle against flesh and blood. Like, we wrestle against principalities and powers and spiritual wickedness and darkness, right? So there is, people are like, oh, my haters. Like, no, there's literally spiritual wickedness and darkness trying to stop us from achieving our purpose.
It is.
Like, and so for me, my faith keeps me grounded that even if this is a hard time, even if this is tough, even if the money is not flowing, because there have been many a days where the money has not flown, right? Even if it's not, like, God is still faithful and he's able, regardless of what I see, think, or even if that thing happens. And so for me, my faith has always kept me grounded. Since the day I met Jesus, it has grounded me. And I'm literally, like, I know that I'm a walking miracle because who I was and who I is. And those two people, they're different. And sometimes she come out. But God has been faithful to help me figure out, like, how to keep who I am while losing the worst of me.
The worst of me. But you still have the core, that essence of who Christina Faith is. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's all the good.
Yeah.
That's all the good stuff. That's all the good stuff. Yeah, that's good. So I have a question about... I remember in 2019, I attended a premiere, right? It was amazing. The room was packed. Yeah. So many people came to support. And you made, like, a little joke. And it was like, because all of your cast, like, they were doing this for free. It was independent. You guys had no budget. How can you compensate, like, a team or a cast of people when you don't have a budget?
You ain't got no money.
Exactly. So how did you influence a cast of amazing, beautiful people to stick around with you, you know, for 3 seasons.
Yeah.
How did you do it?
Love people and help them figure out how can, like, my big thing is, and has always been, like, how do I help people become their best, right? So if you want to fly, how can I help you learn how to fly, right? If you need to make $10, how can I help you unlock who you are so you can go make $10, right? And so I give more than I get, right? And I think that's been kind of like the thing, like, oh, I want to be an actor. And if I can see it, oh, I'll give you a chance. Like, I don't need you to be perfect, right? I just need you to have enough desire and discipline that I don't have to rev you along.
That's right.
And so, yeah, like, and I also, like, I gave them they real. Like, if you work with me, you're going to get an export, right? Which most people don't do, right? You'll be in their projects and you'll never get your scenes, right? And I don't want people, that's how they get to the next level. And so, yeah,
it's like a resume. You help building a resume.
Yeah. And I give what I get. Like, I'm not nasty and mean to people. I'm direct, but I'm not nasty and mean. Like, most people, even still, they come on my sets, and it's a fun place. It's a peaceful place. Like, if you are a complainer, you're not going to last around here. If you like, okay, lunch is at such and such. Now, granted, you need to take your lunch, but sometimes we got to push your lunch. If you don't want to give us grace, like, it's not gonna work. And especially after my last feature, that was not a fun crew to work with the whole time. Like, half the crew was like, yo, we riding. I'm literally fighting racism. Like, literally fighting racism. Like, one of the EPs got fired off the project. Like, fighting racism, and people are just complaining about foolishness. Like, you signed up for this independent project. I didn't. I knew what I was getting. Right. But some people are very they should. Right. You should want to be cared for. You should need what you need. But for us, it was like, for half of the crew. Right. It's bigger than, just what time is lunch. Right. It's about, we want to serve the project no matter what. And so, yeah, I really just want to serve people, and I want to serve the project. And so my faith carries into that. I will be judged for how I treat people, and how I handle them, and how I pour into their gifting. Right. And so if I treat you like trash, and you don't know where people become, you don't know, like, I got interns that's like execs at Nickelodeon now.
Exactly.
You don't know who they become and who they are and who they know, but more importantly, like, they're God's creation. And so for me, I just want to honor and serve that. And so, yeah, like, people have rode with me because I treat them how I treat myself. Like, if you hungry and I got $2, we gonna eat some chicken. Might be only a piece of chicken and a half, but yeah.
Right.
Nowadays, the whole chicken wing is $1.25.
I know. So we gonna get like piece of chicken and a half. We gonna split it in half.
We might need to get rice.
Right.
Rice.
Yeah.
We might
rice. Put a little bit of sauce on it.
We might not have no sauce and no butter, but we can eat the rice. It'll fill our stomachs.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I know one of my questions is gonna be, what's next? But you say you don't know what's next. What would you like to see happen?
So what I hope.
Yes.
None of my plans have actually happened. I used to write plans every year, and them Jones, the guy be like, get them things out of my way. I hope to, me and my husband, we just hope to continue to be used, right? I need to get back into narrative real bad.
Yeah.
We go together real bad. I really want to get back into narrative. I really desire to make a feature this summer, so I can knock on some real doors. I'm working on selling. Single and Anxious has been remade again.
All right.
It's a different show that we're trying to make a big budget show. And so we're shopping at networks now. My manager is shopping at networks. And so, yeah, I don't know. Let me tell you, I'm on this I'm on this train right now. I don't know where this train going. I'm on the train, like, I'm getting the whole NBA, like, on the train. Okay. Oh, this is how that works. So now I'm learning, now we're learning about sales. Now I'm learning, you
know how to flow. You know how to adapt. You just go with where you're supposed to go.
Yeah. Well, no.
I love
That's
it.
like the worst question to ask people after they finish something too. Y'all really got to stop that. Stop asking people what's next after they put out what they just did. Because that thing took like 2 years to make, probably. Maybe
honestly,
4 or 5.
people have questions. People,
Bruh,
or they might know what they want to, want to happen.
No, you could be at your premiere, and the question on the docket is, what's next?
Yeah.
And it used to be like, that's like watching a season on Netflix. You just binged 10 episodes that took them people a year to make, and you asking them what's next, sleep.
You know what?
Rest.
You know what? I'm gonna take that.
No, you don't
I'm
have
gonna
to
take that advice.
I'm messing with you.
No,
I'll probably
no.
use that for
Honestly,
everybody.
though, you know, I might ask it in a different way. You know what I mean? Because I could understand. Because I've been in
I'm really
situations.
just jiving with you. I don't really care. What's next is I'm definitely gonna do a feature.
You doing a feature?
Yeah, somehow, some way.
All right, you will then.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna be kind of hard because Byron got a lot of Superfest going on right now.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I'm trying to make a feature this summer. I don't know how. It might have to be week at a time. I have to make LA look like Atlantic City, but yeah.
Ooh.
Which is actually it's possible.
It is
They got a
possible.
beach.
It's possible.
Mm.
A beach. Put a Ferris wheel
Mm.
on there.
Mhm.
A little bit of trash. A little bit of.
A little bit of trash. First of all, Atlantic City in the 80s ain't had no trash.
Are you right? All right. Yeah, we going. We gotta go with the times.
Not
yeah.
now. Now you be like,
A little bit of pollution.
my aunt, the only one still there down there. I be like, when are you moving? It has nothing but a beach. I told her that. I was
Beach
like,
with some
recently, I was like,
bottles.
when is you moving? Like, go to Maryland or something. Like,
That's good.
I'm tired of coming down here.
Yeah, Atlantic City. I've had some bad
I'm
experiences.
from it. I'm from down there. It's just,
Woo! Bad memories. Good times too. What is the last thing I did in Atlantic City?
nothing good.
I think
8.
I did something.
8 went to the beach.
Oh, I had a bad experience. I always have bad experiences in Atlantic City for some reason. I got stranded. Somebody like
Whoever
Long
that was,
story.
you're not friends with them no more, right?
absolutely not.
Okay.
Never will never talk to me again ever in
See,
their
I never
life.
I was super safe a hoe. I never
Yeah?
got stranded. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it was a
the
bad
one-
experience.
I
I
was the one
lost
making
my
sure everybody
phone.
got home.
Yeah, I lost my phone in Atlantic City. You remember
I'm
the pool?
sorry.
Remember the pool? People used to go there like
No,
on
I
spring
ain't-
break.
I ain't
The
never been to the pool.
Harris?
I'm old.
No, it was around like it was.
I was saved by then. I ain't
No,
nothing.
no.
I missed the whole decade.
Okay, so yeah, bad times, good times for others, but just never work
Never
with me
worked
for
for
some
you?
reason.
I get
Yeah,
it.
that's cool.
It's not a great place.
I always ask.
I'm sorry, people from Atlantic City, but
Yeah, shout out to Atlantic
they
City.
need a lot of development now.
Absolutely. Wet Willie's. Yeah, that's
I've only
pretty.
been in Miami.
Okay, nothing. It's just nothing. Yeah, we won't talk
Family.
about it
I
no
go
more.
to the beach. I go to the Inkwell. That's about it. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't shoot this film in Atlantic City. We gotta make something else feel like Atlantic City. We might have to do just 2 scenes or something.
Maybe.
Yeah, we gonna.
Maybe like the I don't know what do you call like the not statues or you know what I mean, like the points, like the famous points
Oh,
in
yeah.
certain cities.
I don't even
What
need
is
all
that
that. I just
called?
need a casino.
Okay.
We ain't even live in Atlantic City.
I'll go to. I mean, if you go to LA, you could just take a ride or a quick
To
flight to
Vegas or
Vegas.
something?
Yeah.
That might be better. It's easier for the actors too.
But Atlantic City, their casinos be looking kind of old. So some of
Well,
them.
which is probably why we got to go to Atlantic
Exactly.
City. 'Cause it's set in the 80s and that'd
Maybe
be
the
perfect.
casino scenes. Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
long story.
So I asked everyone to
Mm-hmm.
drop a jewel. I'm Jalen Jewel. And this whole thing, this whole experience is about giving people their flowers,
Yeah.
telling their stories, and kind of just sitting down with these extraordinary people who have been through so much, for them to give advice to the people, who are like walking in their footsteps. So what would be a jewel?
I would say just don't stop, right? I was having a conversation earlier. A family member is turning 30. I'm turning 40. And they're still trying to find their way. And, we were telling them, like, don't do nothing for money. Don't do it for money. It has to be a bigger purpose than money. Every time I've done something for money, I dread it. And I'm
Really?
like, why did I do this? Why did I do this? Right? I think if you do it for money or fame or so the industry would know your name, that's a Lecrae lyric. But if you do it for those things, you get what you give, right? And so if you want to do film and you want to make money, it's the wrong industry to make money. It takes a long time to be profitable. And most people don't make as much money as they act like. If you want to make money, real estate is a better place. But yeah, do it because you're passionate about it. Write, direct, produce. But more than anything, like, go learn from people. Learn from as many people as you can. I find that a lot of people want to get in and they think they know what they're doing. And so I've learned just to be like, all right, okay, you know what you're doing. Because everybody think they know what they're doing. It's very interesting. Even people who are at high levels, you realize, oh, they really don't know what they're doing. Like, they know how to talk about it. They know how to sell it verbally. But I've met so many executives that don't know what they're doing. And they may be skilled at something, but not the thing that causes it to shine. Know your worth, know your value is the next thing. Like, know who you are. Take the time to heal, to unpeel all the layers of childhood trauma and just life so that you can become comfortable in who you are. Those are like the main things that help you and allow you to grow, as opposed to just seeking after the next best thing. So, yeah.
That's good. That's so good, Tina. I love that. Where can
Now
they
everybody
find
gonna be calling me Tina though, because you done said it on
Christina?
It's okay, y'all. Can call
This
me
is
Tina
I
now.
met
I'm
I
fine
met
with
her
it.
over 20 years
I'm
ago.
fine with
Give
it now.
me a pass, Christina.
It's all right.
Where can they find you, Christina?
At Christina on Instagram and Twitter, and then it's ChristinaFaith.com.
At Christina Faith on Instagram and Twitter. Okay,
And it's ChristinaFaith.com.
got it. Perfect.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I just want to take the time to say, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
For having us in your space, Creative Thought Media. This
Come
is
use
an
it anytime. Don't nobody use the
absolutely, yeah. So we're located. Can we say?
No, you can say Philly. That's it.
Absolutely, Philly. I'm
That's
not
it.
saying no address.
No address.
Yeah. So
We
you
ain't
can
no
look her up
robberies.
and
Yes.
follow Creative Thought Media.
Yeah.
On Instagram.
Yep.
And but I want to, just say thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sitting down with me. I know you're busy. I know you got a lot to
Listen,
do.
you got on the calendar and sleep was like, yo, just can't.
No, but you didn't.
No, I didn't.
It was something about me that you said you
I
can't,
can't
do
say
it.
I'm gonna say no.
Exactly.
Can't say no.
Yeah, but
I got a phone call if I said no.
oh yeah. But I've never said
Mafia
this
over
before.
there.
But my sister, she loves you, so I love you.
Thank you.
I
Can
love
come
you
to
a
the
million.
family gatherings again?
Absolutely.
They kicked me out, y'all.
No,
It's all right.
Absolutely not.
I'm
yeah,
trying to play
but we
spoons.
love you. Oh, come on, let's do it. Let's play spades. Let's do it. And this was just a great experience, and I look forward to
Yes. I look forward to seeing what you become and who you are.
Absolutely, you'll see it, and we'll be following. We'll stay connected.
You gonna see me?
You gonna see me, and I'm gonna see you,
Yeah.
and we'll stay connected.
Where I'm going?
Oh, I'm gonna remember this right here, right
You
now.
gonna have to, because the number's changing, y'all.
Okay.
I don't know when, but it's changing. We're getting number season changing.
I hear that. I hear that. Me too.
I'm just messing with y'all. No, but
No, I'm serious. All right, but this is another episode of The Jewel Effect with Christina Faith.
Jewels that flow down.
It's so many. You gave so many. And we out.
Hey guys, it's Christina Faith. You are watching The Jewel Effect, available on YouTube, Instagram, and wherever you listen to your podcast soon.
The Jewel Effect.